Namaste.
I am Shivani and this is my husband Karthik.
Hi.
On behalf of San Diego Buddhist Association, today we are going to be demonstrating a South Indian recipe called Pesarattu Upma. We will also make coconut chutney as a side with that, and we also brought some very popular Indian pickles which are very tasty along with the pesarattu. So let's get started and look at the ingredients. So let's make upma. For making upma we have some critical ingredients. So the main ingredient will be semolina. So semolina is basically grained wheat. I have here a medium grain semolina, and then the next main ingredient upma will have is a hot oil seasoning. The hot oil seasoning can be made with ghee, which will make it very luxurious and tasty, or we can just use a flavorless oil like sunflower oil. In the ghee, once it's hot, we'll add spices. So our first spice will be black mustard seed. I have a small grain black mustard here, and another bean which is very commonly used in Indian cooking, which is the black matti bean. I have here split and skinned and dried black matti bean. It's better to get the split one so that your teeth don't get hurt.
These look like Thai chilies.
Yes.
Do you add these to upma as well?
Yes, they make the upma very spicy. So we can add as much as we want or as little as we want. And also we add some ginger to give it a pungent bite. And these are curry leaf, and they are grown very commonly in South India, and they have a very unique taste when fried in oil. So we'll be adding curry leaf.
And cashews.
Yes,
my favorite.
Let's look at pesarattu ingredients. Pesarattu is a mung bean dosa. So Karthik, these are green gram lentils or mung beans, which are very popular in Asia. I have here soaked 1.5 cups of mung beans, and I also have some rice soaked along with it, which is 1/3 cup. And I have used small to medium grain mung beans. We can really use
what
any
type
mung
of
beans.
rice have you used?
I have used basmati. We can use any type of white rice for this. It is just to add some crunchiness to your dosa. Now let's make the dosa a bit savory. We have salt and cumin seed. In addition to that, we'll make it spicy with some Thai green chilies, your favorite, and more pungent with some ginger. So once we are ready with our mung beans that are fully soaked overnight, and I rinsed them several times to make sure the water is running clear, and we can grind it and start making our dosa right away. And we'll use this guy, which is a tawa or a flat griddle, and we'll spread the batter thinly on it and roast it to golden brown color using ghee. And if you're health conscious, you can use something like a flavorless olive oil that I have here. We looked at a porridge and we looked at a crepe. So we need something to dip both of these in. Let's make a coconut chutney.
I see.
So
this is coconut, that's what I would guess.
Yes, this is frozen and thawed, freshly grated coconut. And in order to make the chutney thick, I do have roasted Bengal gram, which is called chana dalia in India. Now I'm going to add more pungency and spicy to the coconut chutney. We are making South Indian food, so most of it will have green chilies and ginger in it. We cannot really skip. So we do have
Thai chilies.
Thai chilies again.
See, red chilies as well.
So yes, we will use 2 types of chilies for this. However, only the green chili will be blended with the coconut. The red chilies are for the hot oil seasoning. So let's look at the hot oil seasoning for the chutney. It will have mustard. It will have split skin black matti beans, which is called urad dal, and red chilies. In addition, we'll also be adding some curry leaf, and the curry leaf actually when fried will become really crunchy, so they will add a very crispy texture to the chutney. Okay, so let's get cooking. Here mung beans and rice. So it's 1.5 cup mung beans soaked overnight and rinsed very well, along with rice, 1/3 cup white rice. So when we grind this batter will make enough pesarattu for 4 people. I have here my trusty little blender. Okay, so Karthik's helping me. So in that I have added about a 1-inch piece of ginger. I have cut it in half. So, and made it into 8 pieces. So just coarsely chop your ginger and throw it in the blender. I also have here some green chilies which are very spicy. So let me add this. We would have to grind this with water so that the blender gets going. So Karthik, can you add water to this guy?
How much water do we add?
So the beans should just be immersed in the water, and then we'll add water as we keep going. And I'm going to start it on low in the grind mode, and then so the blender is a bit stuck now from the fiber, so I would give it a good mix. If you notice, we are almost already there. So it has ground up pretty coarsely, which is what we want. We don't want it like a frozen smoothie consistency. So let's give it a stir.
How long does this whole thing take?
So to blend 1.5 cups, it will take us around 5 minutes. Let us grind it again, but because it's liquid, I'm going to start it on low.
Do I need more water?
I think it's done. So I put my finger in and checked. It's a bit grainy from the rice, but the mung beans have minced very finely, becoming a smoothie, and it's a little bit green from the fiber or the skin of the mung bean. So we can pour it into our storage bowl. So let's make the chutney, and let's also make the upma. I'm making coconut chutney. As a thickening agent, we have this. It is roasted split Bengal gram or black chickpeas. We'll have to make the hot oil seasoning as well, but first let's blend. Karthik, let's add all the ingredients. So do you want to know how much that is?
How much is this?
So this is 1 cup coconut, and then I have around half a cup of roasted Bengal gram. So we can add that. Make sure we get all of that. So I will remove the red chilies from here for now. We'll be using them in the hot oil seasoning, and I'll add the rest of this.
So we added coconut and the Bengal gram.
Yes, right. If you want color to this, for it to become green, you can add a handful of cilantro. However, for pungency, I'm going to be adding a small piece of ginger. Not too big, it's just half an inch piece of ginger. And then for spiciness, I'm going to add 1 green chili. So in the blender, I see it's a 2 cup measurement right now. So I'm going to add water until the 1 cup measurement. So that is good.
That's good.
And let's start blending. Remember, we have not added any salt in this, so we can adjust salt later.
Looks like we have blended it well.
So we haven't added salt still. We're going to add that once we remove the chutney from the blender. Also, this one, we can adjust these proportions in any manner we like. Feel free to add some raw mango, go crazy with it. So there is no one right recipe for making coconut chutney. So we'll be making the hot oil seasoning now before we make the upma.
You ground the chutney. Are we making tadka now?
Yes, we are going to be making tadka. Tadka or popo is the hot oil seasoning that we will add to chutneys and many soups. So let's look at a classic South Indian seasoning. So first I have my pot. It is on low heat. I'm going to add little bit of oil. So I can see that the pot is smoking. So I'm going to lift it off the heat. And I can see the oil is shimmering. So it is hot. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of mustard seeds.
They're crackling. That's good.
Yes, they are crackling. So wait for the crackle, otherwise the flavor will not be released. Now I'm going to add a teaspoon of multi beans, and once they are toasted they will turn pink. So I'm going to wait just a little bit because I also need to cook my dried red chilies. So these are Indian chilies endemic to Andhra called Guntur chili, which is very, very spicy. So you can add a little bit of these. This is cooking. going to turn up the heat a little bit because it's not completely cooked. Now I'm going to add my curry leaf. So curry leaf and matti beans are going to become very crunchy and add a very nice taste to the chutney. So be careful when you add the curry leaf. Step away. Make sure the curry leaf is well coated in the oil. So I've added some oil to the chutney as well.
Can I mix it?
Yes, you can mix it, but I'll show them how it looks. So this is how our chutney looks. So it looks like I have about 2 cups of chutney. So this is a half teaspoon.
Chutney is ready. Are we making upma now finally?
Yes, we are finally making upma.
Okay.
This is the stuffing that goes into the pesarattu. So for upma we need green chilies and ginger finely chopped. But however, I'm going to slit the green chilies because we are making it fresh. So let me remove the stems of the green chilies first, and then I'm going to take my knife and very carefully, it's a serrated knife I'm using, so I'm able to saw through the green chili and just slit it like that. So I do have a few green chilies already slit and ready. I'm going to keep this aside, I don't need it right now. You can also put red chilies in the upma if you do not have green chilies, but the taste is very different. So it's up to you. I still have the same pot from the chutney. So let's start making upma. Upma requires ghee to make it very flavorful and luxurious. Ghee is basically butter, so you can replace it with butter. So let me add a generous tablespoon of ghee into that and wait for that to melt. So I'm going to swirl it around. I still have some of the seasoning from the chutney left, but it's alright. Let's go back to the batter really quick. We haven't added any spices in our batter. We have only added green chilies, remember? So we can add about a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of cumin while the oil is heating up. So I'm going to add some cumin. That's about 2 teaspoons of cumin I have added. This batter requires a special ladle like this. So it's basically, this will be 1/4 cup, but it doesn't really matter. We can use any bowl. We can even use this bowl to spread the batter. I'm going to directly use this ladle to mix up the batter and incorporate the cumin into it. You can see. Oh, is it hot already?
Yes.
Okay. So let's make the upma. I have some mustard here. We start with mustard.
Started crackling.
It has started crackling. So now we add the matti beans. Don't wait. Have everything ready before you do this. And I also have some green chilies. So to reduce the oil temperature, I'm just going to add the green chilies and the finely chopped ginger. Okay. So be very careful when you're doing this because everything is sizzling.
I see a nice flavor.
Yes, it smells really good right now. I wish you were in the kitchen. We also have our cashews to make it very luxurious and decadent. If you do not have cashews, you can skip it. Okay. So it has been a minute. I have this on low flame so I don't burn it. If it gets burnt, because this is what makes the upma an upma, it won't taste good. So right now it is still in the process of becoming pink. As you can see, the cashews have lost some of their color and started becoming golden brown. And especially the chilies, they have developed blisters. So you can see that the chilies are fully cooked. Now I'm going to add my curry leaf. So the curry leaves I used earlier were very small for the chutney, but for the upma we don't need them to be small. I have really big curry leaf. However, I'm going to tear them into smaller pieces, just like this. So the next step is, you see, we have a lot of fat in this pot. It's not less amount of oil. That is what it takes to make a good upma. I would say I have about little less than third of cup of fat and oil in this pot right now. And I have 1 cup of semolina. So this is already roasted semolina, but I'm going to roast it some more. Because it's roasted, it is still white in color. You can get a brown roasted one. I do not prefer that, but you can buy that if that's what's up.
And do we need to add more of the rava or the semolina?
So right now the ratio of the semolina to the seasoning is way off. So it is to the fat. So the interaction between the semolina, the fat and the water is what makes the porridge. So I'm going to go ahead and add more rava before the previous batch is already roasted. So now it looks more evenly distributed. You can already see that it's going to make a great porridge. Let's go ahead and continue mixing this until it absorbs all the fat and it's roasted to a golden brown color. So to make the porridge, we need boiling water. So it always has to be boiling water. You cannot add cold water and then boil it, which is kind of what we do to make rice, right? So let's boil the kettle. We have double the water, which is, so we put 2 cups of the rava. So we have at least 4 to 6 cups of water boiling, because we will lose some water in evaporation. Let's go ahead and increase the heat on the stove.
Okay.
So we had the stove on low flame because of the seasoning, which can burn very quickly. But we can increase the heat now to medium heat. So this is at medium right now, and I'm going to keep a very sharp eye on my rava and make sure it doesn't burn. Yes, it is already becoming golden brown. That is why you need to keep a very sharp eye on it and continuously keep mixing so that the rava on the top keeps moving to the base so that it roasts when it's in contact with the flame.
I see that it's golden
Yes,
brown.
it has already started becoming golden brown. Last time we did have a burn incident. It does have a pinkish color. I prefer it not to be golden brown. So this is how it looks like. Let me remove this into the plate, and the plate will help it cool off. Alright. So it's okay if the pot is a bit messy. Karthik, do you have your boiling water?
Yes, I have the
So
water here.
we do have boiling water. Let's go ahead and put some water, and we can add how much ever we want. That's good. Yeah. So Karthik has added about 3 cups of hot water to this. We want the water to be boiling. Now the most important thing is, don't forget to add salt to the water. So it is 1 teaspoon for 1 cup of semolina. So let's do that. Okay. And our water is still in a simmer because the stove is in sim. So I'm going to increase the stove's heat to medium high. So I do have my upma here. The water is boiling. So very slowly I'm going to sprinkle the upma mix so that we don't have lumps. Upma has a tendency to form lumps very easily. So I'm going to be sprinkling it and then mixing it.
So what does hot water do for this rava?
The hot water basically will prevent the rava from sticking to each other, and it will also instantly cook the rava quickly. Since this is a porridge, it's supposed to be a quick meal. So let us reduce the flame. As you can see, it is fluttering everywhere.
Yeah, I have reduced.
Thank you. So we have our upma cooking. It looks like I have too much water right now, but once it is done cooking, it is going to come together and become a porridge. For pesarattu, because we need it to be of spreadable consistency like cream cheese, we are going to...
You can see this.
Yes, so it has become very soupy right now. Put a lid on this.
Put a lid.
And let us rest this for 5 minutes on the lowest flame of the stove. After 5 minutes, let's open and check. The upma should be ready and the grains would have fully absorbed all the water.
I think 5 minutes are up.
Alright, so let's check the upma. It should be done. So I did mix it once in between to make sure it doesn't burn. However, the upma is done. Here, let me show you. It is a nice porridge. You can see some tasty cashews in between. And then now is the time to taste for salt. So if you forgot to add salt, or if you have too less salt, you can always mix it in hot water and mix it in very well with a whisk, or you can use your ladle. So let's start making the pesarattu. Our batter has been ready for a while now, so it has oxidized a little bit. However, it is still good. Karthik, let's give it a good mix. I know we added salt late to this.
Yeah.
So every time we make a pesarattu, we have to give it a very good mix, even though we have just mixed it.
I turned down the stove for you.
Yes, so I did notice this is on high flame right now, and this is a very thick non-stick griddle. If you want to touch some ghee on the tawa to season it. So I'm going to take a wet cloth and I'm just going to gently wipe off the oil, and then it will be seasoned completely. Smoking. So just below smoke point I have the griddle, and I have my ladle, which is quarter cup ladle or a third of a cup ladle. I'm going to quickly scoop 2 ladles of batter onto this at the same time. Then I'll start making a well in the center. So I make one well and then I radiate outward in a circle.
Wow, that looks amazing. How much pressure do you put to keep?
So when I'm making the well in the center, I do press a little hard, and then when I'm radiating out, I ease up on the pressure and gently I'm just smoothing out the batter. So it's not something you can get right on the first attempt. So you try. If you ladle it thick, it's okay. The only thing that will be different is your dosa will not be crispy. So in all these little holes, I have added ghee, and I'm swirling around the pan, and I do see that it's not sizzling, right? So I'm going to turn up the heat to high flame.
Okay.
So keep adjusting your flame. Make sure you get a fast sizzle, not a slow one, and then our dosa will cook. Right now I'm happy with the slow sizzle because I do have upma ready. So this will give me time to spread my upma on my dosa. Make sure the upma is always covered, it does dry out. So I'm going to spread my upma.
Why do we spread the upma like this? You said it's a separate dish. How does it?
So that is a very good question. When wheat semolina is roasted, it develops a really deep flavor and it's very delicious. So some people, they really like it to roast along with the pesarattu in the ghee, and I like it to be thinly spread. However, you can also have it on the side or completely skip it because it has so much of fat and carbs. So I'm going to quickly test if this thing will release from the pan. So it looks like it is releasing. So I'm going to let it roast more. And while that's roasting, let's talk about plating. So we do have a plate ready. I have a sweet ginger pickle and I have a mango pickle served here. So that is a banana leaf. I have cut it to size to fit inside the plate. Normally when we eat during festivals or if there is any event at home, we do eat on the entire banana leaf, and we have everything placed on the top row, and then on the bottom row, that is where we mix because the leaf comes in 2 segments. So make sure you eat in the traditional banana leaf to have the full flavor profile. This is a pressure to cook. It looks like it's roasted. So let me quickly release it from the pan with a sweeping motion. And because I have spread upma on this side, I'll flip it over like this. And that is how it looks. So make sure the person to eat is already ready so that it's eaten very hot. And ready for chutney as well.
What is the chutney for?
So the chutney is for dipping.
We have 3 dipping agents.
Yes, we have 3 dipping things to dip with. And then I'll also serve some upma on the side.
They look delicious.
So Karthik, if you haven't realized by now, is actually very hungry right now. So, and I'm going to keep my upma covered. And then this is our plate. So, bon appetit.
Thank you everyone. I hope you all enjoyed our dish Upma Pesarattu with coconut chutney. I hope if you liked it, please like and comment on our video.
And also subscribe to Shri Kham BLI Temple's channel. We would like to thank the temple for giving us both Shivani and Karthik the opportunity to demonstrate our culture to our food. And please stick to your vegetarian plan A diet and continue eating really tasty vegetarian food. And we'll see you next time.